live now. So for everyone watching, welcome. This is Andres Restart. Andres Restart. I am joined by Brandon from What About Nintendo. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Slightly disappointed by the week, but doing good.
Yeah? Why you just... Oh, well, we'll get into that. I just want to explain a few things. I'm assuming you're referring to the Game Awards. Or do you mean life?
No, definitely the Game Awards.
Okay.
Well, a little bit of life, I guess you could say. Just a lot of work.
No, I'm just because I had to start everything over from what I used to do. Podcast thing. Make sure this is all working properly. Alright, so basically, guys, for those who are watching from this from the beginning, this will be a discussion on the Game Awards and Nintendo's presence there and all the implications around that. I do not know how long this discussion will be. We will see. But a couple disclaimers. One, I have been dead for about a while. Mainly, when I say dead, I've been sick, so I had to cancel the podcast last week. I'm still kind of recovering, actually, but it's just not as... you can hear my voice now. I wasn't even able to talk before.
Yeah.
There may be moments where I, cough, burp, and I lose my voice at times. But for the most part, it seems to be there. Another issue that happened is that I finally decided to get a solid-state drive and put it into my computer. And Brandon knows. I then proceeded to ruin everything by messing with all the storage space, and I basically had to delete everything. Literally everything. Clean slate. Brandon helped me with that, so I had to do a factory reset on my computer. So everything I had, the intros, the outros, all the PNGs and videos and templates and programs and applications and all of it, gone. So, hence the very simplistic layout this time around. We'll work on that later. I didn't think it was necessary for this discussion. So the sickness plus the computer on top of working and life and visiting family for the holidays, before the holidays, all that together has led to my demise. And by my demise, I just mean my somewhat extended absence and lack of content. But hopefully we'll be doing a bit of a restart for the channel, and we'll be, kicking things off with this podcast here, and then, we'll move on from there. I have things planned for the week. Rather than saying what it will be, I guess you guys will just be surprised when it happens. So, I expect
it's nearing Christmas, so we're getting used to surprises.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna give you guys Christmas gifts unless you like videos.
The videos are the gifts.
Yeah, there are some things in the works. Let me check if the chat is working. Guys in the chat, let me know if the stream is looking and working fine. It's saying it isn't on my end, which is concerning. But I'm not sure what I can do at this point.
Say that sometimes and it doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah.
Not always. Sometimes it does, but usually it's kind of lumpy just yelling.
Yeah, I hope so. So yeah, guys in the chat, let me know how things are looking and working. But I see Brandon Stallion's already here. KJ Gaming, what's up? Super Chris, how you guys doing? Lazy James, what's up? But yeah, KJ Gaming, I am not feeling 101% yet, but I'm getting there. Cool. Lazy James and Brandon Stallion are telling me that things are working and looking fine. That gladdens me. Good. Cool. Everyone's saying it. Awesome. I am glad to hear that. So, good there. So, we don't have a set of topics this time around. It's basically just going to be about the Game Awards. And I imagine you guys will help steer the conversation in the chat as well. So, I'm not really concerned about that. But, yeah. We'll talk about it. I mean, we can start now.
Yeah.
There's no delay. There's no reason to delay.
No.
Yeah. So, I was working on a video today. I wanted to be out earlier, but again, everything that I had to redo, harder to do that. Not to mention,
Yeah.
my voice will go out randomly. Hopefully it doesn't, but it might.
I feel that because when my external hard drive broke a few months ago, I had like a lot of stuff that I put in my videos all the time on that drive, and it
Yep.
was just gone.
All of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to rework my intro and outro so it looks the same. Like, you guys aren't going to notice. Like, it's going to seem the same once everything's good to go, but I had to recreate it, basically. I mean, when I say recreate, I don't mean like I went and downloaded my old YouTube videos, but the thing is, like, there's like music laid on top of it, so you have to like cut the video and get the separate audio, and there's some things. But anyway, the reason I even brought up the video thing is because one of those videos is about the Game Awards. So I was debating, I should really get the video out first before I talk about it during the podcast. But we're already doing the podcast, and the video's not out. So
I've had that happen before.
Yeah, but not everyone watches the podcast, right?
No.
So some people watch the video, and the video may bring up some things that I may not bring up the podcast, and vice versa. So hopefully, you guys will still want to watch that when it comes out, probably tomorrow. We'll see. But anyway, we're talking about everything here anyway, so because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I guess, Brandon, just to get things started, because there's so much we could theoretically talk about. Your overall thoughts and feelings on the Game Awards, not necessarily Nintendo, right? But just overall, how'd you feel about the Game Awards?
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it live, unfortunately. I had to go to work, but I did, go over some of the things they showed, just whatever I was interested in. Honestly, it's weird because usually Nintendo easily steals the show every single year. There's nobody even comes close to them. But honestly, I think this year Microsoft might have had more interesting stuff shown. Like, Nintendo didn't really do a lot. Sony didn't really do much either. But Microsoft, they showed off the Xbox Series X and Hellblade, which both looked really good, in my opinion. And Nintendo, all they really had was Bravely Default 2, which confused the hell out of me. I thought it was a port of Bravely
No
Second.
More Heroes 3.
And No More Heroes. I was getting there.
And I know
I honestly don't know the other one. I don't know.
DLC for Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
It was during a
That's
pre-show, and it's not a big
Yeah.
deal. But I mean, it is technically, like, if we're gonna go by the numbers, like the 2 to 3 announcements for Nintendo that we sort of stick by every Game Awards, they still technically held to that. It's just the announcements weren't as high profile as previous years.
Yeah, I don't think that they were terrible announcements. I think they
No,
were
I think they were
very
great.
hype, like Nintendo Direct segments. I just don't think they were Game Award tier announcements. Especially since we already knew about No More Heroes 3, and the trailer wasn't that great.
Did you see the
It's
extended
okay.
trailer?
No.
Oh well, you eat your words. Watch the extended trailer.
Extended trailer.
It's good. I think you'll like it.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little about
It's
that.
not that it's
specifically in a
bad.
little bit.
It just wasn't great. It wasn't anywhere near the tier.
It wasn't
what we
something
thought was gonna be
that
shown.
really, like, wooed the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter. I didn't want. I like. It's one of those things where I don't want to talk about everything I'm gonna talk about in my video, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna talk about it now. Anyway.
Yeah.
So just get right into it. The issue isn't that those announcements weren't good. I think they were great, actually. But just the expectation we had was something bigger, and we didn't get any Smash DLC announcements. We didn't get a Zelda trailer. Right? We kind of expected those things. That did not happen.
We were fairly certain that was gonna, like, it wasn't even like
the
this
Zelda
might
thing.
happen.
With
We
the
were
Zelda
like, oh,
thing,
this is gonna happen.
yeah, the Zelda thing wasn't like 100%,
That was a
but
little bit
it was like
lower.
at least 50 though, right?
Yeah, I'd say it was like 60.
Yeah,
70%.
yeah.
Like
the Smash though, we were like, yeah, this
that
is
was like 99.
Right, like we thought it was a given. I mean, we were wrong. Everyone was wrong though, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't just us. It was everyone.
Leakers,
Everyone.
the big
Well,
YouTubers.
there's like
everyone was wrong.
there was a couple leakers that came
I'm
out
sure
shortly before.
somebody said something eventually.
They did, like, right before, like, oh yeah, it might not be here. Don't kill me. I think Sabby said that actually. So he was a little they were a little concerned about that. But and we'll get to the chat in a little bit. We're actually gonna rely a lot on the chat today, guys. So stay strong, my friends. But yeah, I think those announcements are still coming. Like their lack of being there does not really affect too much my expectation of where I sort of stand with those two things, the Smash DLC, you know, and Zelda. Like I still think Zelda's gonna be a holiday 2020 title, but I will concede that not seeing it at the Game Awards decreases my confidence a little bit in that prediction. Like I still predict it, I still think it's gonna happen, I still think all the evidence supports that. But instead of being like at like the 80%-ish, 85% confidence I'm at right now with it, I'm like more like at 75, 70. Okay. That makes sense.
Honestly, mine barely lowers just because Nintendo didn't even bring Smash. Like it feels like Nintendo wasn't really like purposely going out to win this Game Awards. Like that seems obvious that they weren't like really trying their best. Like they had things they could have shown. They didn't show anything really big. So it doesn't really decrease it that much. It would have been more if they had shown like Smash and Bayonetta or something like that.
Yeah.
Then my you know.
Right, because it's not like they didn't show their
more.
Cards, like their big killer apps for next year. You're right. That's a great point. So maybe like I gave a window. So I would say I like your point. It makes sense. I still think it decreases my confidence, like, but just by a smidge. Like just a smidge, right? Like it's still there. Like if I had to bet money, my bet's not changing, right? My prediction's not changing at all. You know, that's just a point I wanted to make. But you know, what's interesting though is that I think let's talk about why, right? Like that spoiler alert, my video that's coming out tomorrow is like half the video is about why they weren't there. And my main theory for it is simply that there was no tactical advantage that Nintendo would obtain by showing off Smash or Zelda at the Game Awards. Think about it, right? Like, them not being there does not impact their sales potential really at all. But on the flip side, by showing off No More Heroes 3 and Bravely Default 2 at the Game Awards, that does positively impact their ability to make sales when they come out later in 2020. Like they need. My point basically is that I can see it how Nintendo would have thought it made more sense rather than to just say, "Hey, we're better than everyone with our games." They just showed off some smaller games in terms of mainstream appeal that would still maybe appeal to a Game Awards audience, just to like put these games in the spotlight so people see them and know that they exist now, right? So hopefully that can help them perform better when they come out.
It doesn't really follow with what they typically do, but I could see that being their logic. Because usually they just kind of show really big things each year.
You would think, right?
Not
like
every
2018
year,
we got
many of them.
Well, I would argue that 2018 wasn't like super massive because it comes down to what you think of the DLC, right? Like you got the Smash Joker, right, for Smash. And then we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Which, if you isolate that, that's a big deal because that was an exclusive, very popular game at one point, right? But now exclusive for the Nintendo Switch. So, that was Game Awards 2018, and then Game Awards 2017 was Bayonetta 1 through 3, and the Champions Ballad DLC. The Champions Ballad DLC was expected, like we knew there was gonna be shown then, but still, that's when they showed it off, and it was a shadow drop if I remember correctly. Like after the Game Awards, we were able to play it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, I would say this year, but I mean, if you compare it, so Champions Ballad DLC, Bayonetta 1 and 2 ported to the Nintendo Switch, Bayonetta 3 with a teaser trailer and announcing its development. That was 2017. That was huge. 2018, I would say, is a little weaker because we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 announced for Nintendo Switch exclusively for the Switch, which is pretty awesome, and then Joker for the Fighters Pass, which is still big. Right, there may be something else I'm missing for 2018. Can't think of it. If anyone in the chat has anything in mind, let me know.
Something small.
Perhaps. But I think those are like the two bigger bullet points, right? And then, 2019, this year we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 DLC, which I think is way less of a thing than Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Like that game's kind of, I feel like not too many people are playing the game right now anymore. So like its DLC has minimal impact in my opinion, but still it is a thing, right? But then there's No More Heroes 3 and Bravely Default 2. No More Heroes 3 was a known quantity, right? And we already knew it was coming out in 2020. So really all we did was get a better understanding of the story for No More Heroes 3. Like that's pretty much it with that trailer, which is not, that's still good. Like I'm pretty excited for No More Heroes 3. And then Bravely Default 2, well that's a whole announcement. Like we didn't expect that for 2020. That's already bolstering the lineup for 2020.
Yeah, we're getting to know a little bit more about the 2020 lineup because we still need to know a lot more games though, I think.
Right, which is why I think there's going to be
need confirmation
massive
and a lot of games
January.
will be announced.
I think there's going to be a massive January Nintendo Direct.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, maybe they might squeeze it until February, but I doubt it.
They might.
Doubt it though. Like we don't have a February game yet. They might want to announce like something for February.
Maybe.
So I could see.
Also, February. I assume we're gonna get the Smash character announced in the Direct now, because it's not within the game cards.
Whenever that Direct happens, whether it's January, February, or perhaps even late December.
So I just feel like it'd be. I mean, they could, announce him pretty close to his release, but if they announce it in February, he'll have to be out in like a week or two, And usually the characters have been announced and they don't come out for, like a month or so. So it'd be a little bit close to announcement to release if they announced him in February.
Right.
Him, her, it.
So let me ask you a question, and after you have to answer that question, let's get to the chat and then we'll come back to it. So, do you think, when do you think the Nintendo Direct will happen? Or rather, I think we agree it's probably January, but do you think it's possible? I think we both think it's possible that it could happen in February. Like they might delay it because they did that this year, but usually it's in January. But there's another possibility. What if they have it in December? Like what if it happens this month, later, like a week or two from now?
I guess they could, but I don't really know if they would want to launch a Direct right in the smack dab in the middle of the holidays. Because if it's late December, you got Christmas, and then you got New Year's shortly after.
Yeah, the staff
that.
also goes on vacation too during.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got people on vacation. It's just really not a good time. You got people who just spent a ton of money. Now, some people will have gotten like gift cards and stuff, so that can help. But they'll still have.
You can still do that in January.
Have them by January. Yeah.
Like.
So it just seems like a bad time, overall.
Right, I agree. January is probably the best bet. Like, if the Direct happens early January, they can still announce the game to come out mid-February, late February. And I'm not talking about like a big, high-profile AAA game that we haven't heard about, right? Like, I'm not expecting Retro Studios game to come out in February unless it's Metro Prime Trilogy HD, right?
Yeah, that makes
like
sense.
Prime Trilogy HD is just a remaster, probably, right?
Yeah.
So that could maybe come out in February, or Skyward Sword HD, possibly.
I see that as less likely, just because I'm pretty sure, we're both pretty sure that we're going to get Breath of the Wild 2 this year, or next year.
Fairly certain.
My mind is already in 2020 for some reason. But, yeah, it just doesn't make sense to launch Skyward Sword HD in February and then Breath of the Wild. I mean, they could do it, but I don't think they would.
Like, I think they could do it, right? We've seen Nintendo do similar things. Like, for example, the Mario Maker 2 and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe Extravaganza Amazing Bullcrap. Like, I always add like 4 names to it because it's a ridiculous name already. But, like, they did that and they were like 4 or 5 months apart from each other. So, I could see them doing something with like Skyward Sword HD and Breath of the Wild, which I would argue is more different than U Deluxe to Mario Maker.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
they play very, very different.
So I could see that happening. Another thing that I could see happening is Prime Trilogy and a 2D Metroid coming out. I mean 2020.
You know what could happen? We could finally get Pikmin.
That could happen.
One day.
Yeah.
One day we'll get Pikmin.
Perhaps. I mean, we are coming up on our 2020 predictions soon. So
yeah.
That's coming up. We're close to that. Another thing What was it? Let's check in with the chat actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So where were we here? All right, Brandon Stallion asked me, do you think we'll get a December Direct? Each Smash character has come out every 2 months, which means Fighter 5 has to be out by January. Since no Smash character was revealed, we have to get a December Direct. I don't think we have to get a December Direct, right? We were just kind of talking about it.
No.
I think, like as Brandon was talking about earlier, because a lot of Nintendo staff or a lot of people in general are off during the holidays, I don't think it's really likely we'll get a Direct in December. We haven't gotten one like a major Direct that has never happened in December, right? To my knowledge.
And usually when you have a Direct, you have some of the bigger developers, filming stuff for it.
Yeah.
In the higher ups and stuff.
That's the thing.
Those people are for sure gonna be off.
You gotta consider prep time too. That makes sense because there's a lot going on for this year right now. So there's not much time after all the going-ons for 2019 for a company to switch gears, prep, and then have everything out and ready in December. Because companies have to make deals, they have to get trailers together, they have to go through all the licensing. Like, there's a lot of different things that need to be done in order for, announcements to be made. So, when you consider that staff are going on vacation during the holidays, that makes it really unlikely for there to be a major December Nintendo Direct. But, I'm not going to say it's impossible, I just think it's unlikely. Right? Same way I thought a November Nintendo Direct was unlikely. That doesn't mean it can't happen, and it didn't happen. It hasn't happened, but that doesn't mean 2 years from now it won't happen, right? But I would say a January Nintendo Direct is what makes the most sense, but they could push it into February. I hope not. I really hope not.
Also, I don't think Fighter 5 has to be out by January. I mean, when we first saw the announcement, the fine print was February.
Right.
So, I mean, they have been coming out kind of spaced, but their spacing hasn't been the exact same. It was very different between, say, Joker and Hero than it was for Hero and Banjo. It was a little bit closer. So they're not exact. They're kind of relatively close, but they're not exact.
Yeah, there's definitely variance between when the characters come out. So I wouldn't. It's really just a window. We all expect the character to come out before the February deadline. I don't really think there's any reason to believe that that Fighter 5 is getting delayed. It's just one character. I doubt they would have so much issues that they would have to delay a whole character. In fact, they almost seem like they were ahead of time with Terry Bogard. So, to add more evidence to that, they announced they were already developing other characters a while ago. Back in September, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a September Nintendo Direct. So back in September, they already announced that other DLC characters were already in development. And Banjo and Kazooie and Hero were pretty much done in June. Right? So, they were probably already working on Terry back this summer. And they announced that they were working on other characters back in September. So I don't really think there's any reason to think that the Fighter 5 is getting delayed or anything like that, or they're having issues with it. I think they just, in terms of timing, they just haven't decided to reveal it yet. January is when we're going to see it. It might come out January, it might come out February. I think that's really the point of debate here. January or February, one or the other. So we'll see. And when it is revealed, it likely will be a big Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I think January is looking to be a big one because we still need a lot of information about 2020 stuff. And
all we have is Tokyo Mirage Sessions in January, and Animal Crossing New Horizons, and we need more information on both of those. So they need another push, and that's another point for a January Nintendo Direct. We probably need something to talk a little bit more about Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Now they could just do a trailer on Twitter. But typically Nintendo will have these games featured in a Direct before they come out. So I think it makes sense to have the Direct before Tokyo Mirage comes out. Which, actually, do we have a date on that? If there's a hard date on it, that could give us an idea as to when exactly the January Nintendo Direct is going to be. Tokyo Mirage Encore, right? Encore. release date. It told me December 26th.
Yeah.
Because that's the Wii U version.
Mhm.
I hate how Google give me good release. Alright, well it says pick up
Should
on
be on
January
this.
17, 2020 GameStop. That's the date, January 17th.
It
So
doesn't seem like a placeholder date, so yeah, I think so.
right. Don't hold me to that, but that seems like it what the date is going. So within the first 2 weeks of January, I'm betting is when the January Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are the Thursdays for those? We got the 2nd, the 9th, and the day before the 16th. So there's 3 spots there. 3 Thursdays before that game comes out.
Okay, but the Direct could be on a Wednesday. They decided to do Directs on Wednesdays.
True.
year,
I'm just,
so-
usually it's on Thursdays. Either way, Wednesday still has 3 spots. So we got 6
Right.
potential
Same
dates
difference.
here. Yeah.
Mark Jacobs, hello there. Let's see the chat. Robeer, what's up? He's saying the new Xbox looks like an evolution of the GameCube. It does, right? It kind of does look like two GameCubes stacked together. I said something like that on Twitter the other day.
It kind of looks like that, I guess, just because the tower. But other than that, it's not really similar in any other way, literally at all.
I kind of. How do you feel about how it looks? Because I actually kind of like it.
I like it. I like
Like
it. It looks
depending
very
on the games
sleek.
lineup. Go on.
I like the material of it. It looks very sleek. I like the top. It's kind of got like a. It looks like it. I can't tell if it actually is or if it's just the way that the circles are. It looks like it's dipped in.
It does look like it's concaved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does have a little bit of a dip. And
It's
it
got
has like
that
a green light.
light.
Yeah, I think
Pretty cool.
I think it's kind of cool. Like you can. It's gonna be. It's kind of like
It's pretty small too. I was expecting it to be a bit bigger.
It's like a mini
If you
PC.
compare it to the controller, it's like. Well, you
Right.
guys can't see.
I think it.
It's
I
something
honestly
like
think
13
the
centimeters
analogy
tall.
of two GameCubes stacked together is probably pretty close to how it's shaped.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a bit smaller. I don't know. But yeah, it's just it's kind of like a little teeny tiny PC tower.
Yeah, and I think
It's just a small box.
it looks nice to me. And you can put it horizontally for those that care. I mean, it doesn't look. It's obviously not as slim as like a PS4 or a normal Xbox
Yeah.
One. So you might not be able to slide it into every single like TV stand that has like a shelf for that. So you're gonna have to sort of adjust for that. But it's the same kind of issue with the Switch dock, right? Like it's not the way it's shaped is not. I have my dock right here.
It's very tall.
Yeah. So you kind of have to position it a little differently than you would for normal systems.
Yeah.
Just moving. We'll talk a bit more about the Xbox in a bit. I just want to kind of get through the chat here. Robier, the problem are always expectations. You have to go with low expectations. In the end, it's the Game Awards, not E3. So, yeah, I kind of I like half agree.
Mhm.
I like being excited about things. And I am always hopeful for really cool, awesome things. But at the same time, yeah, I always try to maintain, it's like, hey, nothing is for sure, right? So whatever
Right.
happens, I try to appreciate it for what it is. And
Mhm.
I
I don't
l-
think either of us think it's bad. It was just not amazing. It was okay. It was good. It just wasn't amazing like we were hoping for.
well,
I don't think either of us thought it
well,
was bad.
um,
Did you think it was bad? The announcements
no, the
Not
announcements-
necessarily like
no,
award
the announcements were
show.
good. I'm excited for No More Heroes 3 and Bravely Default 2. I plan on getting both of those games at this point. So, I thought those announcements I think are good, like really good actually.
Mhm.
It's just in terms of the grand scheme of things, in terms of hyping everyone up, no. But I guess that wasn't Nintendo's goal.
Right.
In terms of the Game Awards itself, well, it wasn't really much worse than the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was a little worse.
It's on par with the other ones.
Like not like in terms of a show, in terms of the way it's put together, not good. And I'll say that
It's never been good though.
ending off the final announcement being a Fast and Furious game,
That nobody seems to
which
care
is
about.
all like, see, they were advertising a movie. It's an award show for games, and they were advertising a movie, right? Like it's not like a commercial in between, like when it wasn't that. It was in the show they were advertising a movie.
I
don't know.
Indirectly, they were advertising a game based off a movie. So in front of their
Vin Diesel started talking about Fast 9. He was like, "Oh man, I just saw a trailer for Fast 9." Like, come on. Like, it's not that I don't think that's cool. It's just I don't think it was the right time for it. It was the final thing for the Game Awards, the final announcement, and they were talking about a movie trailer. I think that's just. Like,
I don't understand.
I actually think it's dumb. Like,
I think the Xbox Series X could have been a good last announcement.
Well, I think the problem with that is that
I think they ordered the trailers differently though.
I think part of the problem with that is because the Game Awards is supposed to be for all gamers. Maybe they don't want to put it at the end as the final exciting thing, because that would be favoritism.
Was it Breath of the Wild back in 2014 when they showed that game more? Wasn't that at the end? That was like after the final award.
Which year?
Like the very, very end.
Which year?
2014.
Was it even the same awards show back then, though?
I was, the first one?
Because there was... Like, was it the VGX or was it the Game Awards? Because, they transitioned to a different type of...
It was the Game Awards.
I don't know. I would have to go back and look. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But at the same time, they sort of, like, I guess, evolved over the last few years, right? Yeah,
it's very different. A lot worse. But in some ways, it's better. The announcements are better, sort of.
It did seem a little faster this year than last year. I still wouldn't have wanted to stream it, because I would have been like, oh, that's neat. Oh, that's neat. Oh, that's not neat. Like, I don't want to stream. I don't want to stream the show for people to watch just for me to say that I have no interest in that game. Yeah, I have no interest in that. Yeah, I have no interest. Oh, that one looks neat.
I had interest in some of the announcements.
There was this demon game that seemed really cool. I forget the name of it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Damn it. If I see the name, I'll know it. Game Awards 2019 announcement. Like, maybe there's a website that just compiled all the announcements so I can see.
I'm sure somebody did.
All the big announcements at 2019. Okay, Kotaku, don't fail me. Okay, the Microsoft Xbox One X. Xbox Series X.
Series X.
Bad name.
Yeah.
Godfall, which is a PS5 game apparently. Bravely Default 2, we know about that. Weird West. Dark Alliance. I'm not seeing... Apparently the game I was excited about is not...
What?
Hold on.
Them demo suggests that it might be Son of the Forest.
Sons of the Forest. Yes, Sons of the Forest. Thank you guys. That game seems pretty cool to me. Yeah.
I didn't see the trailer for that one.
Oh, you should watch it, man. Pretty cool. It's like really creepy and demonic, and it looks awesome.
Nice.
Like, it looks like people exploring the woods, and there are demons. It's in first person.
I think
it is not a Switch game, from what I can tell. It's there. Yeah.
There's probably 5 announcements during there that I actually would care about.
There was like a Sharky game. It kind of seemed neat to me.
Sharky game?
Yeah, it was like a shark. Where you play as a shark that can evolve and transform and change colors and kill people.
Huh.
Yeah. It seemed kind of like an indie title. I don't know if it was, but it seemed like one. But let me continue on with the chat here, just to catch up. Antonio Bradley, hello there. Yeah, KJ Gaming. I am super hyped for Breath of the Wild 2 and Metro Prime 4 as well. 100%. Maybe we'll finally get a teaser for Prime 4 this year at E3. Hopefully. So KJ Gaming is asking, what Smash DLC fire do you all think will be next? Ooh. At this point, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance, actually, that it might be a Nintendo character. So, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I think that chance has actually gone up a little bit. Why do you think that is, Brandon?
Because they didn't show it the Game Awards.
Exactly. What is the Game Awards a great play? That's why it made sense for Joker to be shown off at the Game Awards, because it was a character that is not like specifically Nintendo, really big on PlayStation actually, and I think at the time Persona 5 was a nomination for Game of the Year as well. So it made a lot of sense. Actually, I think it was the year before that Persona 5 was nominated for Game of the Year. But the point is, like, it made a lot of sense to show that character off then. So my point is this. They skipped the Game Awards, right? If they had another major third-party character to reveal at the Game Awards, like, let's say, Sora, for example, they definitely should have revealed it at the Game Awards, and it would have been a huge mistake to not do so if it's like something like Sora. But because they didn't, I feel like it's indicative that the kind of character that they're going to reveal isn't the kind of character that would, you know, really woo the Game Awards crowd, if that makes sense. You know? Like, come on, do you agree with me that if they had Sora, do you think they would have skipped out on the Game Awards?
Sora, that would have... If they show Sora in January, I'm going to be like, what's wrong?
Well, yes. Yeah, so, I mean, granted, there have been some weird decisions made in the past that we're like, we kind of scratch our heads like, why didn't you do this then? But I feel like logically, because they skipped the Game Awards with the Smash reveal, it implies to me that if it is a third-party character, it's not the kind of third-party character that is like a really big mainstream character that everyone's begging for. Right, so it's either something a little bit more obscure, or it's actually a first-party character that would go completely against the trend of the Fighters Pass, which has been all third-party characters. So, I'm not saying it's more likely a first-party character at this point, but I am saying that a few weeks ago when I was thinking it was kind of like 70, 80 third-party, 20, 30 first-party, right? Now it's like maybe 35% first-party in my head, maybe. Okay. Yeah. In my opinion, we'll see. But I'm just pointing. I think
it's still like a 20% for me.
Has it gone up at all? Was it 15% before?
Yeah, it went up a few percentage points, but
it went up. So it went up a little. It went up a little.
Somewhat. I can see the logic of your.
And it doesn't have to be first party though. I think the bigger point is simply that it's not like a big mainstream character like Sora.
Right. So it's probably not Doomguy either. It's probably not. It's definitely not Master Chief.
It could be Ryo Hayabusa. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because he's not like mind-blowingly popular.
Yeah. Or people have been talking about that girl from like Puyo Pop or something.
Oh God, please no.
You know what I'm talking about though, right? She has like orange hair. I might be like messing this up.
I have an idea of what she looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, why would she get in? No.
I don't know.
Just no.
Oh. There's a lot of characters out there. Brandon Stallion is saying that there have been December Nintendo Directs. How long has it been? It's been a few years. There has been Nintendo Directs. Let me check the Nintendo Direct archive.
Yeah, but were they at the end of December or the beginning? Because
I would say
bet that.
Well, no, you can't count the beginning of December. Right, because that's the thing. But let's check though. Let me see. I control F12. Let me bring this over here. You guys should be able to see this. We're scrolling through the Nintendo Direct archive. So for 2019, obviously nothing yet. For 2018, there was nothing. Right? It was just in November there was a Smash Direct at the very beginning. Go to 2017. 2017, nothing. We just got a Xenoblade 2 Direct in November. Let's go to 2016. Nope, not 2016. In 2015, there was a Super Smash Bros. Presentation. So there's that. December 15th.
I remember that.
So
yeah,
4 years ago, there was a Smash Bros. Presentation.
4 years ago today.
Let's see. Which is during the Wii U era, where Nintendo had a completely different structure and pattern of doing things.
It's also still the first half of December.
Right. Yeah, like, we haven't gotten an announcement yet. Like, this would be... It would still go against the trend. Okay, I'm looking at... There was a Nintendo Direct, actually, in 2013. December. So, you know, maybe. Right? Maybe. So we go back to 2013. There was a Nintendo Direct in December.
A little bit, just a few days from now.
Yeah.
18th.
All right. So, well, I mean, if there's one announced this week, guys, there you go. There's a precedent. We'll see.
Could happen. Maybe on the 19th.
I doubt it,
This
but we'll
next
see.
Thursday.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or the 18th. It is a Wednesday, it's the 18th.
Yeah.
Could happen.
Lazy James seems to agree that Smash Character was not delayed.
Did you see the people were retweeting that same Smash presentation from 2015? They were retweeting the announcement and fooling people into thinking there was a Smash presentation today.
No.
Because the dates lined up.
I did not see that, but I've seen people do stuff like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
funny.
I'll see the ones where it's like a fake Nintendo account, and those are easy.
Like,
I can
then
just be like,
turned over
click,
of
nope,
Americas?
that ain't it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those never fool me. This one fooled me for a bit because it was
Because
the
it was a
same-
real Nintendo tweet just from 4 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. So, but it took me a bit to figure out that that one was fake. Tripped me up a bit.
Yeah. That's no. Yeah, guys, don't be fooled if you saw that. Check the fine print.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Lady James was saying they may not have announced because everyone was expecting an announcement. They may have wanted
Maybe.
to present it in a better way. I know it's the Game Awards, but maybe they know a better way to present it. Perhaps.
Right.
They do want to share these things
they
in their own way.
Maybe they want to talk about, him more than they could in,
Right.
Game Awards.
They want something
thing.
more personal.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is kind of the way a lot of the characters have been since Joker, actually. So maybe that is it. That makes sense, actually. It's a good point. For sure. The Podcast Dojo. What's up, man? Yeah, I think the new Xbox is pretty cool, actually. The name, no.
I like
But,
it. The name, I think I kind of understand their reasoning, but we'll talk about that once we get back.
Yeah, I just want to get through the chat and then we'll get into it. Them demo, hello there. They didn't put Xbox at the end because that isn't prime time. Oh.
Is it not?
Oh, see, that's an interesting point. Like, I don't even consider, like, when people are watching television on terms of cable, because I don't watch that much cable. And yeah, I see that them demo was talking about Son of the Forest from earlier when I was talking.
I'd imagine right before the Game of the Year announcement would be when the most people are watching, because a lot of people wouldn't watch for the beginning. They come in towards the end just to see what got Game of the Year. So they'll probably see the announcement right before then. So I would think that would actually might be the time when the most people are watching. That in the beginning. It's like the very beginning.
Hard to say, because at the same time, the Game Awards it goes past 11, at least Eastern time, right? So a lot of people don't stay up that late. Maybe not.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if I remember correctly, there was like a Microsoft announcement, Sony announcement, and then Nintendo announcement. Like the Microsoft, and they kind of did it in order. Like Microsoft went first with the Xbox trailer with was it Senua's? I don't know how to pronounce the name. Senua's
Saga Hellblade 2.
Right.
Is the name.
And the first one's actually on Switch. It came out recently. Yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't know how to say the name because I don't remember. And
I think this one is Microsoft exclusive.
yes, because they bought Ninja Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it. We were like, "Oh man, this game is cool," but we probably won't get the sequel because Microsoft bought the team.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll have it go like it'll start off exclusive and then they'll branch out after, possibly. Because
Maybe.
Microsoft is putting their IP on other systems. Oh, we'll see. At least for initially, it's going to be exclusive for the new Xbox. But then after that was the Godfall, which is technically an announcement for it was a PS5 game, right? And then after that, they're like, oh, Jeff Keighley's like, oh, but we went over Sony and Microsoft, but there's another company that has something too, and then they showed off Bravely Default 2. So, I think maybe it may have been a situation where they just had all the big companies have like a special announcement like organized together, and that way they wouldn't have given Microsoft the spotlight above everyone else, unless they wanted to have all 3 announcements at the end. Like, they could do that. I think maybe next year, if they wanted to, make more sense to have to save like the bigger announcements towards the end. But then at the same time, maybe you don't want people to watch for 2.5 hours without anything really cool being shown. You know?
Probably.
So
I think space them out a bit.
right. So I think it's a complication of you don't want to separate them by too much because you don't want to be biased towards one company over another, right? But then there's the other issue of where you put it to keep people watching. Because if you had it at the end, people wouldn't be really bored throughout the entire show.
Mhm.
You know? So even though you want like a really big thing at the end, sometimes you just don't have the content for it. Like, you know, like it's hard to blame the Game Awards for not having better announcements. Because that comes down to the companies, right? Because the Game
not
Awards
on
gets the
them.
eyes. It's not like people aren't watching the Game Awards, right? Although maybe you can make the argument that the Game Awards was a better watch, more people would watch and pay attention, and then the announcements would be better, perhaps. But hard to say. Yeah, Brandon Stallion. It was 2013 that Direct happened. DAKJ Gaming, good luck streaming, man. Podcast Dojo. Billy and Jimmy from Double Dragon. Billy would be main and Jimmy alt costume. Talk about Smash characters, I see. Okay.
Mhm.
Brandon Stallion added me. So, Andres, do you think for Mario's 35th anniversary next year, we'll get a new 2D Mario, Odyssey 2, 3D World Deluxe, Mario Baseball, Super Mario Party 2, Paper Mario 6, and Mario Kart? Yes. All together
Whoa.
as a collection.
All those things?
Combined. I think maybe one of those things could come out next year.
Yeah.
But I also try not to put too much stock into anniversaries because every few years there's enough.
Nintendo hardly ever.
Well, you got to think about it.
Big.
Every year there's an anniversary for a few big IP, like every single year. Like you can't when the development cycle for a big game is already 3 years, you can't have an anniversary every 5 years of a franchise. You can't like celebrate it with a big brand new release. So, and I feel like there's no point. Like 25, okay, 50, okay, but like 30, 35, 40, 45, 15, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I do think
Maybe on their 40th they'll do something.
Maybe.
I do think we'll get at least 2 Mario games next year. Just because we pretty much always do.
Like another
Not,
Mario
main
sports title?
ones. Yeah, we could get, just 2 with something in Mario. Sports title, racing title, main title, 2D, 3D, whatever. Something Mario, we'll call it 2 things. Because it's been happening for the last couple of years.
Maybe we'll finally get an announcement for the next 3D Mario game.
Maybe so.
Which I think is a sequel to Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
If not like a spiritual, if not like a literal sequel, at least like mechanically. Like they'll use the mechanics of Odyssey and just do something a little different with it.
Mm.
Yeah. So actually, Them was saying there's normally a big drop off about halfway through the show in terms of Game Awards. So again, it makes sense to have those big announcements in the first half, as opposed to the second half. Makes sense. So, let's talk a little bit about the Xbox. So,
Okay.
I think we both like how it looks, but how do you feel about the name?
So, first off, okay, my thinking, the possibility is, I don't think when you walk in the store, it will say Xbox Series X on it. I think Series X is kind of the name of the family of the next generation of Xbox. I don't know if it's the name for one specific Xbox, because Series implies that it is a series, a family of system with multiple systems. So I think it would be Xbox, and then the name. It might be Series X, might be one of them, but I don't think it would be as confusing as it currently is. I also think marketing can be done in a better way because it looks so different than the Xbox Ones. I think it would be easier to market that, as opposed to say like the Wii U or something. that looked like a Wii. This looks like so radically
it's
different that
better
I don't think
than the
name
Wii U.
change is as bad.
I think it's not as bad. It's not a Wii U situation. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
Some people have been saying it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad.
No.
Part of the thing is that I have seen, like, for example, I saw a Review Tech USA video where he made the argument that, oh, you know, like with the Wii U, people weren't sure what it was with the naming. They got confused with the tablet. But a lot of that had to do not with just the name, but with the way they advertised and marketed the system. Right?
They kept referring to it as the controller over and over again.
Right. Exactly.
They didn't even. I don't even think they showed the system, or like it wasn't the highlight. Like they didn't like show the system up close and like they did with the controller. They just kind of had it there in some of the parts of the trailer. They didn't actually like show it off, and it looks so similar to the Wii. If at a glance it looks exactly like a Wii. Like you would just think, oh, that's a Wii.
Yeah, it looks very similar, right? For the untrained eye, to be like, okay, that's just a Wii. Yeah, the Xbox Series X is one of the most unique looking, dedicated gaming systems we've ever seen. And I know that may sound weird because it's just a rectangular box, but in terms when you compare it to other gaming systems, right, it's different because nothing has been ever been that tall before. So
that tall, and it's very, very simplistic.
I like it.
It's probably the most simple. Yeah, it looks sleek. It looks like really nice tech. Like if you compare like the sleekness to like an iPhone, I feel like it's kind of that same level of like cool technology look. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. Less like a toy and more like a professional. You know, this is, you know what I'm saying, like pro gamer kind of stuff. Yeah, I like it. It looks like something you could put next to your PC. Which is, if I do get an Xbox, that's probably where I'm gonna put it. I'm just gonna put it like right next to the PC. Yeah, I have a second because I keep it under my desk. You know, I got the little shelves that come out. I got a second one on the other side. I'll just put it right there. Yeah, I mean, I can see putting it on the table, but well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not even sure I'll get it because I already have a PC. Not really a need for it necessarily. We'll see. Yeah. It also, the games are pretty important. They haven't, like, I think that one game that showed off is definitely good. That's a step in the right direction, but we're going to need to see a lot of other games on that level in terms of, like, quality, right, and standing out, but also variety, too. They need variety. Like, they can't just be all shooters. And that game is not a shooter, so, you know, that's good. But I also don't want it to all be just, like, a whole bunch of really gritty games. Like, I want variety, which is maybe why I'm more of a Nintendo fan, because with Nintendo, they are really good with the variety thing. Like, they're going to give you a lot of different kind of games. So we'll see, but they bought those development teams. If they come out with a redone or like overhauled, renewed Scalebound, right, that actually works on the new Xbox, that on coupled with maybe Series X exclusive. Yeah, if you did that. Because Hellblade 2 is an Xbox Series X exclusive. Interesting. Yeah, then it's another exclusive. The Xbox One you get that other exclusive in there, and then maybe, you know, what would be like the nail in the coffin for me, if there was a Banjo-Kazooie remake. Like, if all that, I'll be like, oh, I do think I might want this now. For Microsoft fans, Halo being a dual release, kind of like Breath of the Wild was, is a very, very big deal. Because I think it will look and run and just play a lot better on the Series X. So for big Microsoft fans or just big Halo fans, that's a big plus. Yeah, for sure. So, I'm just checking in the chat here. So, Podcast Dojo saying the name sucks, period. Great looking console, and I'll get it, but the name sucks. They didn't show the Wii U system until much later. So, right, I mean, the way they showed off the Wii U was just bad. Lady Jane's saying it will be a nice for a sleek setup. I agree. It's going to be really nice to just put either with your computer stuff or your TV stuff. I think it'll work for sure. Yeah, I like it. So, I'm definitely curious what they're going to do with Xbox Series X. It looks cool. So, we'll see.
Sure. I honestly, the Godfall thing, I didn't pay too much attention to the trailer, but from what I saw, it didn't. What is it? Basically, like just CGI or something.
No, it was all in game or in
I,
engine
I, I
footage.
hate that. I hate that. I know it's not CGI, but like it was. If I don't actually see gameplay, it's really hard for me to like get excited or something. Like the Senua thing,
Yeah.
right? Like that's only cool to me because I know about the first one, right? And I've seen gameplay for the first one, right? And I see the graphics technology there, but is Godfall like a whole new game? Like I don't even know how it plays. So
It's looter, some kind of looter game.
I'm trying to see if I can pull up a trailer here.
Yeah. I don't know if I saw the trailer, but it didn't really show a lot of how the game actually plays.
Well, that's the
That's
thing.
similar-
That's the problem.
Yeah.
You're selling me a game. If you're not gonna show me how it plays, what's the point?
Yeah, they are pretty. I mean, they're not coming out till at least the launch of the system's next holiday, so they might want to just announce them and not show too much.
Let me see if I
But
can.
I mean, it is at least it's in.
I don't know
engine,
how
not
this is gonna look on
CGI.
Discord. It might look terrible because of the frame rate.
Because CGI trailers are the worst because you don't even know how the game's gonna look. At least these are in
Okay.
engine. So
Maybe I just
they're-
didn't give
this
us
is
a good
how
look.
the game's supposed to look.
This is blurry as hell. So it's hard to even tell how good it. I mean, it says it's 1080, but it does not.
Mhm. To be fair,
I mean, it looks cool.
The original Breath of the Wild trailer was essentially just an in-engine trailer,
Yeah.
just like these are. It's literally like the same exact. Same
Yeah, maybe
thing.
I'm just a hypocrite. I do think the graphics look pretty good.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just like whatever it is. I guess I can't put my finger quite on it. I just don't. I mean, this looks cool. Like I see some cool stuff. I guess the thing is, I don't see how that's going to. I don't know how that's going to play. How it's going to play as a game. With Zelda, with the Breath of the Wild trailer when we first saw it, I can envision how that would be an experience for me, right? This, I have
Yeah.
no idea what I'm getting into. Like, not even an idea of it. Like, I just know it's some sort of, like, mythological, medieval kind of game. Like, that's it. I don't know anything else about it. So...
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing. With Zelda, you kind of already know kind of what you're getting. They show Zelda open world. Oh, I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, you already know it's Zelda. So they basically what they told us is, hey, this is open world. This is how it's gonna look, and you can figure out a lot of details. And there was a lot of details in there that gave us ideas of how we would play the game, actually, right? Like in terms of the bow mechanics, the jumping mechanics, the slow time mechanics. Like there were things there. So there's that. And actually, let me see if I can pull up the Senua's trailer again, because that also. I think it was just basically like a tech demo, right?
This is in engine.
Blah blah blah. You know what I mean. Or maybe you don't. Like this looks.
I don't think
like a
tech
movie.
demo is quite the right word.
Okay, it's not the right
does look
terminology.
Insanely good.
What would you call it? Just an in-engine trailer? Because it's not gameplay.
It's their target for how they want the game to look.
And
essentially.
this looks ridiculous. This kind of destroys the Godfall trailer. It's an entirely different aesthetic, but like in terms of like it looks really impressive. Like the other thing, maybe it was just the feet. Like this doesn't look like gameplay. It looks like a movie. These parts look more like gameplay. But the close-up shot of her face, not so much. Dude, this seems more like gameplay right here, actually. Yeah. This is a better trailer than the Godfall trailer, I would say. Because I have a better... I feel like it gives me a better idea of what I'm actually going to... And I'm not saying it does a great job of it. I just think it does better than the Godfall trailer. I don't know if you're watching it with.
I am, but it's not
Right.
synced, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does a better job than the
Yeah.
Godfather. Almost called it the Godfather.
And I guess the other thing is that it's a little different. Like, the intensity of her face stands out more to me than another, like, mythological game. Not that I don't like mythological, like, themes, I do. It's just, again, when I don't know what I'm kind of getting out of it, I guess for me, it's hard for me to sort of, like, get excited about it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just because I'm a Nintendo fan. I'm just too biased to see how cool it is. But I'm excited for the Xbox. I think it looks cool. So, you know, I can't be that biased. Just Godfall
I
just
might
didn't.
buy one
Yeah.
and play certain games over my PC just because supposedly, I mean, it's official information, but we're not sure exactly how it will work. You can sleep state multiple games at the same time. So you
Okay.
can essentially just sleep mode a game instead of the entire system and then play another game. Just like you can like on a PC, and it's just so convenient to do that. Well, PC, the problem is you kind of have the game running the entire time. You can't like sleep it. Like, but on this, you can sleep a game. It's barely running, so you still have enough resources to play another game without like impacting it too much, which is just ridiculously convenient.
Yeah, why don't you want to know what else is convenient?
What?
You hate me. When you play Pokemon Sword and Shield, and
Oh.
and you go online and you do a battle with someone, you can actually see their entire team and their stats right afterward. I know it's completely random.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's the most.
Yeah, I know. It's just I was playing online earlier. I'm actually that's gonna hint. I'm gonna be doing an online playthrough, like online battles, competitive battling soon. That should on Tuesday, but
Nice.
I'll finish my point with it, even though it's entirely random. Like, it's something you can't do with Pokemon Showdown, where you can like do simulations. You can't actually see your opponent's team. In Sword and Shield, when you play online, you can, so you can learn more about the team, what you're going up against, pick up different strategies that way. But anyway, back to the actual point. I think my issue is just like I feel like a lot of trailers that come out nowadays, it's very cinematic, and they do not do a good job of telling me what I'm gonna be doing. Because I want to see something that's fun, right? Like, I feel like a trailer for Untitled Goose Game is a much better trailer than because that tells me what it gives me an idea of what I'm getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense?
I think Senua does a good job of kind of telling you the vibe of the game and kind of a little bit about how it plays, sort of. I don't know. I feel like the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer is kind of the same way. It's a little bit more because you kind of see hints of like new powers and stuff, but it's pretty much mostly story. As far as like new gameplay elements, it's not a lot.
So here's the thing, right? Like, there's when there's like a franchise that's already kind of known, because you already know the franchise, you already have an idea of how the game's gonna play, right? So I feel like it's easier to have a story trailer for that, and to keep me personally appealed at least, right?
Yeah.
But when it's not, when it's like a new franchise, new IP, and it's not a trailer that shows off gameplay at all, that's gotta be like a really, really good story trailer to really draw me in.
Yeah.
And it's so, for example, the Godfall thing, and I'm not trying to say it's bad. Like, objectively, I think it's good. Like, graphically, it looks good. There's some cool things happening on screen, but I guess there's just maybe I'm just a Sony. I don't know.
I think they had like interviews and stuff that tell more about what the game is actually about.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're completely left in the dark. It's just
Yeah.
not in the trailer itself.
Right. I know I'm not a Sony hater because I have a PS4 and there are games that I play and really like. So it's just I'm gonna stop hating on Godfall. It may end up being an incredible game, and I may even end up loving it. Just I wish the trailers were they just don't draw me in. I mean, actually, you know, to defend my bias, Fire Emblem Three Houses I was not sold on that game until like a week before it was coming out. Like the only reason I was paying attention to it was because I knew about Fire Emblem because I was a Nintendo fan. Based off the trailers, it was not really personally selling me. So maybe I'm just a really hard sell when it comes to trailers, actually.
It's kind of the opposite for those. They showed a lot of like gameplay, but like no story or anything interesting in that way. So it's just very, really long, drawn out trailers. And then the final trailers started to be actually really epic and story focused, and that they became much more interesting. It's kind of the opposite of the problem you're having with these trailers.
Yeah. So I guess I can't like really say it's like gameplay or cinematic for sure. I think it just comes down to whatever it is. I think it just needs to do a good job of exciting the audience and wanting them to want or learn more about it. And I think, at least for me, maybe I just have really high standards. A lot of trailers, especially when it's a franchise that I know nothing about, or if it's entirely new, so I also would not know nothing about it. It needs to do a really good job of bringing me in. And I think most of the time,
there's a lot to choose from. So if you don't get interested from that first time you see it, you're gonna be less likely to look into it.
Right, there's so many other things to be excited about. Exactly. So it's competitive. That's the other thing. It's a competitive environment with so much out there, for sure. So yeah, that makes sense. But let's check with the chat here. Hey Mandy, what's up? Podcast Dojo, I think I will check out Senua. I've been meaning to, actually. I just haven't gotten around. There's a lot of games that are on my backlog that or my to-do list.
I wonder if that's on Game Pass on PC.
Well, that'd be neat.
Because I have that, and I've been playing a lot of PC stuff lately.
Yeah, Computer Roast, we haven't talked about what we feel about the Game Awards. Basically, it was bad. It wasn't that bad. It was okay. Kind of par for, I would say par for the course, which was boring. There's like good parts in it, but overall I feel like they made bad decisions with the show. I think the show needs to be in January. I think that's just a joke that it isn't. And the announcements I think were good. It's just not what people expected. Like it wasn't like really mind-blowingly good from Nintendo.
Yeah.
To summarize. And he's saying I don't mind cinematic trailers. They get me hyped sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, like Breath of the Wild 2, I would say that's a cinematic trailer, right? But I guess maybe because I'm already a huge Zelda fan, I see that I'm like, holy crap! Like I'm Zelda, freaking out already. I already know, I know what I'm getting with it, so I'm already really excited about it. But I wonder if part of it is that Breath of the Wild 2 is just like that trailer is just a really good trailer, right? Like
yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think it is because it stands out from other things too, right? It's like to your point how there's so much competition out there, right? When you see the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. It's different from other trailers you've seen. It really stands out.
I think Senua Saga did a good job.
It does stand out.
I think that stands out.
I agree.
Think the Godfall trailer definitely does not. It looked very generic. It looked cool and it looked nice visually, but
there's a lot of games that have done that before already. That's the thing. Yeah. We've seen a lot of games kind of like. And it's not to say that the art style isn't cool or anything like that. It's just that there's a lot of games that have gone for similar themes that look similar to that. So, to me, it just didn't stand up. Yeah, Mandy, I'm pretty excited for Bravely Default 2. I actually haven't played Bravely Default 1 or Bravely 2nd.
Bravely Default. You want to talk about bad names? Bravely Default 2. I'm still confused. Like, I understand.
From what I understand, it's that Bravely Default 2 is like taking place like with the same characters as Bravely Default 1. Bravely 2nd was like the next game in the series, but not necessarily using the same.
Okay.
Right, and this is coming from someone who hasn't played through the games
right.
actually.
I'm surprised that they didn't decide to port the first one to the Switch because I believe they were talking about it a while back.
I kind of want them to do that, just so I can play them because I don't want to go back to my 3DS to play them.
Yeah. I don't want to have to buy a 3DS.
Yeah.
I don't want to play on a 3DS.
So Computer Robots is asking, oh yeah, guys, what was the announcement Nintendo wanted us to see at the Game Awards? There's a couple announcements. There's No More Heroes 3, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 DLC, and Bravely Default 2. Those are the 3 Nintendo Switch announcements. So, there you go. I think especially No More Heroes 3 and Bravely Default 2, Nintendo wants to do really well. So
Mhm.
for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I can't say with 100% certainty, but I believe Nintendo is assisting in publishing Bravely Default 2. Like, it's a Square Enix developed game, but Nintendo is kind of like Octopath Traveler.
Mhm. It's made by
Yeah,
the same developers.
it is from the same
It's a
developer.
very similar situation.
Yeah. Mandy Play is saying, from a Zelda fan, the trailer was okay, but it left a lot of questions. Which are you talking about? The Breath of the Wild 2 trailer or the Godfall trailer?
I assume Breath of the Wild 2 trailer.
Okay.
And
Roby,
I
you're
mean,
here.
I feel like it showed enough, but it was kind of a while until we were actually getting the game, so it's a very early trailer.
Yeah.
And Zelda trailers always pose a lot of questions. That's kind of the awesomeness of them.
Yes, it facilitates theorizing, which is big with Zelda fans. Robier, I'm not a big Zelda fan, but the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer is better than most of Sony trailers, and I'm not a Sony hater. I have a PS4 and many games. Alright, so from his opinion, the Breath of the Wild trailer was good. So Mandy was referring to the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, by the way.
Sony's had a few trailers. I think their trailer for Uncharted 4 way back in the day, back when they were showing off the PS4, I think that was a really good trailer.
Which one?
They've had Uncharted 4.
Okay. I'm not an Uncharted.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was an Uncharted fan.
I
I also think Microsoft's trailer for Halo Infinite was pretty good. The original trailer.
Yeah,
for
you
it.
showed me that. I like that one.
So it's not like the other companies don't have great trailers. Just they're. I don't think they do as good a job of trailers as Nintendo does. They're not as consistent.
Yeah.
But I thought Hellblade was actually a really good trailer, honestly.
Yeah. No, I liked it. A little. Not like a lot, but a little. I was more into just the system and how it looked. That's what really got me high on it. The Xbox Series X. Just how it looked. And just the idea that Microsoft has put so many, has bought out all these studios. And just kind of like the decisions they've been making, like with the whole cloud thing and how they're sharing their games and what they're doing with their controller. Like, I do like the way Microsoft has been handling themselves lately. So, that does give me confidence about the system. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hello, the geek. I'm okay. I'm just trying to hold up here. Trying to get through the podcast, even though my breathing is limited. Robier said, by the way, I'd love to see Reggie there acting like he was still president of Nintendo of America. Well, he did say he was not, but that his speech was very good. His speech was not arguably, pretty much indisputably, the best part of the show. Did you see his speech, Brandon?
No.
Oh, well, you gotta see his speech. I wonder if I could play it.
Watch it after the
Watch it later.
podcast.
It was a very strong speech. Yeah, if you just go to Game Explain, they have this whole
Hmm.
yeah. But yeah, and it was just for the Indie Award, but he has such a powerful presence in the way he speaks. Like, he destroyed everyone. But they also very clearly gave him a larger time slot so he could have a full-on speech. If everyone else were to do that, the show would be a snooze fest, because most people can't really entertain like Reggie can.
Yeah.
It was a very powerful speech on gaming and how important it is and how indie games they are important, because that's where a lot of it starts, and a lot of those indie developers eventually move on to bigger and better things. That like he made comparison to how Shigeru Miyamoto was comparable to an indie developer at one point or another. So it's very powerful. Peter was saying, I want Injustice 3 for the Switch. Alright. Geek is saying, I have to say that Final Fantasy VII Remake did it for me. I saw a trailer. Maybe it's because I'm just not a big Final Fantasy VII fan. I am thinking about getting it in January, but I'm not sure I will. Not because I don't think it's cool or good, just so many games.
If I get it, I'll get it when I buy the PS5, because I'm definitely buying
Perhaps. Maybe when more episodes are out. So, where are we now? Where should we go from here, Brandon? Or are we done?
it.
I feel like there's definitely more we could cover.
Yeah.
There is. So we've talked about the Xbox. Um, this is technically not with the Game Awards, or may have been happened in an interview around the Game Awards. Recently, we've heard that Reggie thinks that cloud gaming is going to be a big part of the future. What say you to that?
I think it will. Once a smarter company takes over, because Google with Stadia, it's not that Stadia is necessarily.
There's a lot of Stadia
Yeah.
game. I hate it.
It's not necessarily that Stadia is terrible. It just doesn't live up to what it's supposed to be, and it just drops the ball in a lot of areas that it doesn't have to. Like, it's not the actual streaming tech is bad. It's that the developers on the server side aren't putting out the content that they say, because it's supposed to be when you buy like the super premium version, you get the 4K 60. That's what is supposed to happen. But a lot of the games just run at 1080p. They look worse than the Xbox One X, despite them saying that Stadia is supposed to be much more powerful than the Xbox One X. But they run and look worse than that version. So it's just kind of a botched thing.
Yeah,
but it is super convenient. I mean, if I could play games on the cloud that were like really, really good versions of those games, I think I would do that a lot for like PC gaming for like third parties, because I don't have to download like 100 gigabytes of data. But the thing is, it has to be a competent version of the game. So far, Stadia is not a competent version of the game. It streams nice. There's minimal input lag if you have good, decent internet. And the stream itself works. It's that the games being streamed aren't as good as they're supposed to be. They're not as a good version of those games.
Right. So that's just where we're at right now. In the future, that will get better.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree that cloud gaming is very likely the future of gaming, because as technology progresses, it is going to become, something that makes more sense. Like, it's kind of like, look at digital video now, right? Like, we used to rely on, when you go far back enough, like, you had to go to a cinema to see anything, right? Then you had the tube televisions, right? Then you had, like, computers and like big computers, but then you had phones with screens on it, and then you could watch videos, right? Like, on the internet, right? And then you could watch videos on your phone that were connected to the internet anywhere. So, like, that is advanced over time, right? Thanks to the progression of technology and, of course, the internet. So I have to imagine that as time progresses, cloud gaming will get to a point where it is very reliable in more places, and that's just the way it's gonna be, right? Like,
and I think the thing is, like, I think there's still a way to keep that kind of, Nintendo charm of having a Nintendo system, even if Nintendo was, eventually to do cloud streaming for their stuff instead of consoles, because you can have, a special controller that hooks, because a lot of the Nintendo, cool stuff is like, your Joy-Cons, your Pro Controller, your motion controls.
That's what they do.
They're HD Rumble. So it's all in the controller, not the system itself. Now the Switch is a different case because it's portable and all that, but they can still have that form factor, and stream the games instead of having it run on the system natively. And it can be really light and really sleek, and even more so than the current Switch, because it doesn't really have to have that many internals. Like, it's not like everything's just gonna be generic, just because it's streamed.
Right. I mean, that's kind of what Nintendo's done, right? They've always, like, tried to innovate with their hardware. I think they've innovated with their software too, but they've always tried to innovate with their hardware. But I think they're always gonna be thinking of ways to, like, differentiate themselves and come up with unique ways to play and improve the experience.
Yeah, their hardware has always been about the externals, like the controller and the features of that, and being able to take the Switch anywhere, rather than the internals of what's actually running the system. That's just been kind of, not a huge focus in terms of, like, being different.
Right.
So having, the internals matter less because you're streaming the game isn't gonna take away from that, because you can still have the form factor and all the unique features and stuff.
Yeah. So, but I don't think we're there yet with cloud gaming though. So
No, I think we
that's
still need a few more years for internet to get better across
yeah.
the
It's
country. And
gotta
when
be.
5G
It's
rolls
not
around,
just
that would be nice.
yeah. It's gotta be for everyone. Like right here, they're
Yeah.
they're still working on setting up 5G where I'm at right now. Um.
Mhm.
So you know.
I think once 5G is a thing, that's gonna be big, especially with a lot of people getting unlimited plans, because that's gonna be really fast, and you can do that literally anywhere. So you can just have 5G on your Nintendo Switch 2 or 3 or whatever, and then you're streaming games anywhere you go, no matter what, and it's always a great connection.
But yeah, imagine if you could just have it set up where you have unlimited hotspot, right? And you just hook your Switch up to your phone. Because most people have a limited hotspot, or not a hotspot at all. I mean, it kind of depends. But the point is, I think eventually, like, you could have it set up where you have unlimited hotspot. Like, technically, my work phone has an unlimited hotspot, right?
Yeah,
My
my
work
dad's
phone though,
does too.
it's for work related stuff. But though it's not even like that crazy of a device. It's just, you know, because of the company and the service. Like that, I think eventually could become something that is more common, and
Yeah.
you know, then you're
And
good.
honestly, I would be happy with that if they get to a point where it works really well. Because I'm more interested in Nintendo's hardware than the actual like I don't collect games really. Like I have my
Yeah,
collection over there, but like I don't really collect games. As you can see, they're all Switch games except this one Wii game because Skyward Sword because it's actually a
yeah.
cool edition.
I've always said that
Um,
Amiibo I think are really strong because
yeah.
regardless of what happens with cloud gaming, Amiibo are still gonna be there, right? Or things like Amiibo, where maybe you can even offer away with how the Amiibo can interact with the game, but they're basically collectibles and they can remind you of the game. It's kind of similar to what game cases are. They're a memory of the game, right? So make it so there are more Amiibo, which is what they have been doing, and they're getting better. Excuse me, like I've mentioned, I've been sick, so sometimes my voice just kind of dies.
Yeah.
um so you know um I'm I will just say it one more time. I do think Amiibo are a big thing that will help to kind of give us that thing, that's that tangible collectible thing as we move forward into the digital.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think with Nintendo, there's less likelihood because some people are worried that they eventually won't be able to play their games, which is definitely worry for something like Google because they cancel stuff all the time. But I think Nintendo, they're gonna stick around. There's no benefit for them to take a game off of the server, you know, so they're just gonna leave it on. It's not like they're gonna be like, oh, we just suddenly decided that we hate ourselves and we're going to remove games for absolutely no reason. You can't play these anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a less of a problem, but I do understand. Maybe they'll have the option for like if something's gonna get legacied out, to download it, onto a hard drive. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll have that sort of option instead, or just sell like digital codes or something for it.
Yeah.
So that you can download it even if it's not on the service streaming. Because I can understand maybe they don't want computers dedicated to, or taking up computers for that game when like nobody really plays it or like storage on there. But they can still have it for downloads if you want to play it.
Yeah. I kind of want to go back to, unless there's anything else you want to add to this subject, but I kind of want to go back to um the Game Awards a little bit.
Okay.
And I guess we're kind of, this is going to be a shorter than 2 hour discussion. Like we'll just kind of end it off on Smash and Zelda. We talked a little bit about Smash, but we didn't talk too much about Zelda.
Mhm.
Zelda wasn't at the show. We kind of thought it would be. When do you think we'll see Zelda?
Honestly, if we see it before E3, I don't think it'll be in the January trailer or direct. I don't think
Right.
it will be there. I think it will be in a mid-spring direct. I think that's when we've been seeing the bigger games in directs. If we don't see them by E3, we usually see them in that time spot. you know, that's when Smash was announced. That's when we usually get the bigger announcements for like later in the year. Whereas January typically covers, you know, from January to E3 or a little bit beyond that. So I don't think we'll see Zelda in January. I think if we see it before E3, which I think we might, I think it will be in the mid-spring Direct.
Pulling up the Nintendo Direct archive. So, just to look at like for comparisons, right? Was there a Spring Direct for 2019, or is it just not listed here?
I think it was February Direct.
Right, but there was a Direct for E3, wasn't there? Yeah, because they announced Link's Awakening. Not here.
No, they announced Link's Awakening in the February Direct, and then they had a Mario Maker 2 Direct. Yeah. They didn't have a general Direct after that until E3. They had a Mario Maker Direct, I think.
Wow. They had the Pokemon.
Yeah, that was like a week after, right?
2 weeks after.
2 weeks.
Like, when the Direct happened, I remember saying, hey guys, it's going to be a Pokemon Direct on Pokemon Day. 2 weeks from now. Like, no, this is nonsense. It's like, no, it's happening. Here it is. You don't believe me, just go back. I have theory videos on this.
I remember. We talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so did this one really have Link's Awakening on it?
Yeah. Link's Awakening, Astral Chain, Mario Maker 2. It was a big Direct. It was awesome. But I think this one would be in January, which
Dragon Quest, Fire Emblem Three Houses.
They'll have another one.
Looking through Starlink. Hellblade. Link's Awakening. Okay. I'm just trying to like look at comparisons, right? So we had in 2018, what was it? Smash, Mario Tennis. I guess it was Smash, right? Yeah, 2018 was Smash. That was a big thing. Because there was a January, it was a Direct Mini. Interesting. So in 2018 we had a Direct Mini and then a Spring Direct. 2019, this year we just had a February Nintendo Direct, but there was also a Pokemon Direct. There. Huh. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm like pretty much with you, Brandon. I just wanted to see that. In my video tomorrow,
if they do a February Direct, though, they might show Zelda because they might not do another Direct until E3. But if it's a January one, I think they won't show it.
I tell you this: if we don't see Zelda until E3, I think there's a chance it doesn't come out. Like they could theoretically not show it off until E3 and could still come out this year for sure, but them not showing it at all for a whole year, to me, is very suspect, right? It's kind of like the Animal Crossing situation. The only difference is that with Animal Crossing, they did already publicly announce a release year, which was 2019, and it was delayed when we saw it at E3 finally. It skipped a few different directs, right? With Breath of the Wild 2, we don't have, well, technically, it's not even, we don't even know what it's actually called yet. We just call it Breath of the Wild 2 because it's easy. We don't have an official release year for that yet. But we do know that there are leakers, credible leakers, right? Like, I don't just mean like, oh, maybe 50-50, 20-30. No, I mean like people that get like everything, right? That know what's going on. They've said that, yes, like Savvy, for example, and also King's Out. They've said, yeah, internally, that the plan is for this game to come out in 2020, right? That doesn't mean it will come out in 2020. That just means that's what the plan is internally. It could be delayed. But they have not publicly announced that yet. But either way, we've been over it several times. Why I think it's really likely. Why you think it's really likely. It's a sequel. They started developing back in holiday 2017. They're reusing the same engine, building upon it. We saw a story trailer which suggests they were already really deep into development, because stories usually developed late into the development cycle for a Zelda game. And on top of that, how often does Nintendo announce a game and it comes out more than a year and a half later? There are some, Shin Megami Tensei, and Metro Prime 4. Metro Prime 4's development had to be restarted though, and Shin Megami Tensei is technically Nintendo's not responsible for that. But
Yeah.
there are exceptions, but still, usually it's not that long. So we'll have to see. I think a spring direct is probably the better bet to see Zelda 2 though, as well, assuming it's coming out holiday 2020. Because, for example, just like Smash, we could see it in a January title direct. I just don't think it's as likely as a spring direct, and I don't think we'll see it at both. It's gonna be one or the other.
Oh yeah. We'll only see it one time
before E3.
At the most before E3.
At the most, right? At the most, it might be not at all.
Yeah.
But
and I don't think it would be anything like mind blowing. Like I don't even think.
I think it'll be
name.
a confirmation of when it's coming out.
Yeah,
like
I don't think we'll get the full name. I think it'll still be just referred to as the sequel for Breath of the Wild. I think the name they'll announce at E3. Breath of the Wild, we didn't know the name at all until the E3 2016.
Well, I'll give you that. The release year doesn't always have to tie in with the name announcement. Oftentimes they're separate. So, okay, I'll give you that. Right, I think you're probably right. I think if we see Zelda, it's more likely.
I think the name is a big impact on like the story and the overall theme of the game, which I don't think they'll go over.
Right.
In detail.
I think. Do you think it'd be a gameplay trailer? Like we'll get some gameplay.
I think it'll be similar to the trailer we already got. I think it'll be mostly cinematic, with hints at gameplay, but not actually from the gameplay point of view. Like I think it'll be a cinematic, but it will show like hints of gameplay. I think I think it's gonna be similar to when I thought the trailer for they showed the Game Awards, when we talked about that the other week. Cinematic, but it has like hints of gameplay, shows towns, shows maybe the overall, or maybe something about the the Sheikah technology disappearance, that kind of stuff, like the same kind of stuff we were talking about the other week.
Okay.
I think that we'll have that.
I definitely agree that if we see it again, we're getting a confirmation of it coming out this year.
Yeah, I don't think that they would show it and just be like, oh Lord, it's coming out.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we're pretty much done here. Let me check on the chat, but I think we've reached the natural conclusion for tonight's discussion. Peter, what's added me? You talked a little bit about Smash. Well, then talk more about Smash. When do you think the reveal for the 5th DLC Fire is going to come? In a January Nintendo Direct, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a video planned to come out tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about that too. But it's pretty much like there were two options. It was the Game Awards or in a January Nintendo Direct. The Game Awards didn't happen. The January Nintendo Direct is the last option. So that's what I'm going with. Yeah. And Brandon, we've talked about it already, so you agree with me, unless your mind just changed within the last hour.
No. I'm 90% sure it'll be the January Direct. Like, there's 10% chance maybe they'll have their own Smash presentation or some kind of something for it instead, but I don't think so. I think it'll 90% sure be in the Direct.
Okay. Alright. So, anyways, guys, I think that's pretty much it for now. Thank you so much for listening and watching. I know I'm still a little sick. I'm sorry. And everything's kind of been simplified, but we're getting back on pace. I do have a video planned for tomorrow. It should be out tomorrow. And there might be a new Pokemon series starting on Tuesday.
Nice.
And yeah, and there's also a Nintendo Direct predictions video in the works, along with a 2020 predictions video in the works. That probably will come out within the next couple weeks as well. So we got that stuff coming. And obviously, we'll talk about it here on the podcast. Brandon channel still exists. It still happens. It's linked in the description below. What about Nintendo? Make sure to check it out as well, guys. But yeah, thanks for watching. Brandon, you got anything else to say?
No. Thanks for coming and hanging out. It's a great discussion.
Alright, take care, guys. See you later.
Bye, guys.